my garage and I am working on some vices tonight. Trying to get them all taken apart because tomorrow night I'm going to go over to Jeremy's house and then he got a brand new ultrasonic cleaner. I want to put them in there, get them degreased, and then I'm going to Scotch Brite them. I got 4 vices, but one of them's already sold. And I have 3, which I was going to flip, but I might just have to keep one because you always need a vice. So I stumbled across this sale about 2 months ago. This guy was downsizing his shop and he was selling all his vices. I thought I hit the jackpot because he had like 10 to 11 there. But when I went to go inspect them, probably about 6 or 7 of them were actually knockoffs, and there were only 4 actual Kurt vices. So I decided this year I'm not just buying everything, I want to buy the quality. So let me show you a little bit about the vices we got. All right, so I have a Kurt D688 vise. It gets its name from the width of the jaw, which is 6 inches. And then when you have the opening, you can fit an 8.8 inch piece within it, or that's what the opening size is. So I purchased these vices from a guy that did a lot of machining on CNCs. He was a gun manufacturer, so a lot of steel was done on these vices. So there's some steel buildup on the inside here for the chips, and they're kind of dirty. So what I'm going to do is pull them all apart. I'm going to clean them real good, Scotch Brite everything up, make sure that the surfaces are good. I'm actually going to probably replace any of the parts that have wear on them because you can get a kit to do that. So a lot of the details that I'm going to go over here, I learned from Mr. Pete's video. If you've never watched Mr. Pete's videos, they're awesome. He goes over the technical background of the design, and goes through a lot of the informations and the ins and outs on how to take these things apart and why they function the way they do. So just great video. So if you've never seen Mr. Pete, big thumbs up for Mr. Pete there. So a little bit of difference between Mr. Pete's vise and these, and I'm going to show you on this vise right here. So on Mr. Pete's vise, the lead screw is only threaded on a short amount of the screw, and most of the threads occur on the nut. On this 688 design, a majority of the threads are on the lead screw, and then only a small part of the nut is actually threaded. So a little bit of difference there, but essentially you have the 45-degree angle that you see here. The spherical radius will sit right there, and then it will push on the recess of this casting, and then you get the force forward and then down to hold in the workpiece. So there's multiple ways on how you can get these apart. I'm going to go through one that I saw online, just working backwards from what Mr. Pete did. So first step is you have a set screw that's in the back of the adjustable vise, so that will come out first. A couple of notes that were mentioned in the video I'll show you once I get this one out. All right, so I got the set screw out. If you look very closely, it actually has a notch in the set screw here. So it's not just, if this thing is damaged, it's not just as simple as going out and getting another set screw. Once you have that out, the jaw comes off very easily. So within this jaw, the movable jaw, you have, let's see if I can get this on here, but the hemisphere tucks down into this surface down in here. He uses a touch of grease whenever he reinstalls this to kind of hold it in position because it'll fall out when you're doing reassembly. So you can kind of see, I don't know if you can pick it up on camera, a lot of the chips have gone into this area.
There's a man out at the front. He's a sander.
Oh. All right, made a quick sell. The business never stops, so now back to what we're doing. So as I was saying before, a lot of the, as you're milling and stuff, a lot of the chips and stuff are getting stuck down into this area right here around the sides. So that's why I'm taking it all apart, getting it all cleaned out. There's some thrust bearings and some other things in here we'll see as we're taking it apart. I'm gonna go check those out as well. But overall, pretty good condition on the ways. The vise ways right here, so it looks pretty good. I'm going to keep taking it apart. Some of the newer ones that I've seen on the design, so this is the 688, which I believe has been replaced by the D66. And on the D66, there's some additional holes on the side so you get better chip evacuation, so you can blow them out a lot better than just getting them trapped in here. So I'll keep going. The next step, once I got this out, you can either remove the fixed jaw up front, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and there's a clip in here that I'm going to remove. And then I'm going to try to get the lead screw out. Is this the right way to do this? Yeah, I think I'm going to try that first. That should come out pretty easily. So the nut's attached onto the lead screw. Let me show you just a little bit what that looks like before I get going too far. So as you're turning this lead, or this nut is going back and forth engaging. And you got a 45 on here that's connecting into the adjustable jaw and driving that in. So all right, so there's the clip. I just took it off there, butchered it up a little bit, but still in pretty good shape. I got some kits that I was going to talk to Jeremy about for some of these replacement parts to see if I want to do that instead. So once that clips out, I don't know if you can see it very well or not, then you have the ability to move this all the way out. The only problem, which now that I'm realizing, is I'm not going to be able to get it out without getting that fixed jaw, so I'll go ahead and take that out. But nothing too bad. As you move it up, there's the stack up is you got the thrust bearing, and then you have the other O-ring that's on this side here. I think the O-ring comes in a set. And the thrust bearing comes in the replacement part set as well. So I'm going to flip this over to get the fixed jaws off. No big deal. Unless you don't have the part, is getting the socket head cap screws out. So not too bad on that one. That one was loose, so we'll go ahead and take these off. I keep a cup out here that I put all the parts on that as I'm taking them off, which works pretty well. And then I'm labeling these because I've got 3 different sets. The jaws and stuff I want to keep matched up with the same vise, just in case there's any kind of weirdness with that. There's a couple of washers that are down in the hole here. Take those out as well. So those are out. The hemisphere we put in there. Now, when I raise it back up, this one should come out pretty good. So another difference between this vise and the one you see on Mr. Pete's is he had a separate keyway, where this keyway is built, looks like it's built into the jaw, the fixed jaw. So that's a little bit different. Now that's off, this should slide out fairly easily. This is the thrust washer right here. Hopefully I'm getting all this stuff into the camera angles. So I'll put that to the side. And now you've got the lead screw and the nut. So all right, so I'll look at the screw here in a minute. And just to drive home the point, what you got going on inside of here is you have this edge, and then you can actually see, I don't know if you can see it or not, see the rounded surface in there where this sits. And then you're driving this against the movable jaw, which has a recess in it. Both of them are castings, but pushes against the movable jaw, and then that's where you get your forward and downward force. So lead screws on these look pretty good. I mean, there's some chips and stuff on there, but I think they'll clean up pretty nice. I don't see any gouges or any major issues with those. And that one's tore apart. So this is what it looks like with the base casting. Looks pretty good. One thing that I saw on Mr. Pete that I hadn't been doing is I need to buy a surface plate. So that way I can actually set these on and make sure that they're flat and everything, and then do some inspections. So the first one is done. I'm now going to do the next one. So first step is I'm going to remove out the